talk a little bit about why we created Gatherly and what the hell we're trying to do here. Don't excuse my French. I'm a university professor. Place. I've been doing that since 2018, pre-pandemic, and boom, pandemic came and all of us jumped onto Zoom, and then my classes started to look like this. It's unfortunate because it's impossible to engage people on the other side of the screen. It's impossible to understand how people are doing on the other side of the screen, and it's impossible to really share passion or to take any focus off of myself. Class becomes entirely about content. And I don't want to pigeonhole ourselves into education here. I'm going to spend some time talking about how this affects everybody. But anytime you want to get people together for a webinar, you want to get people together online to drive real objectives, whether it's awareness or to get tasks done or meetings, and it feels like pulling teeth getting people to engage, and that can't be a symptom of humanity. It's not. People are not naturally like that. It's instead a symptom of the technologies that we are using. Zoom is a very good thing. I'm not here to talk about how bad Zoom is. It obviously came into the world when there was a need for it. It worked really well, and then everybody and their mother discovered what a Zoom was and was on it the next day. And there still is room for Zoom. We still do have meetings. We have departmental meetups. We have some calls we got to do. It's reliable. I'm all for it. But then the moment we start talking about things like career fairs, about ongoing classroom environments, about any type of awareness event, any type of webinar, we start bringing people onto these types of technologies, and it's not valuable. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. 70% of virtual event attendees are passive for the entire time. I promise you that's not going to be you here in a moment. And out of everyone that we speak to, most people rate engagement as their biggest problem and figure out a number of ways to try and engage their audiences that are too rooted in the technology. And I said, well, you just gotta be a person. We just gotta make people recognize that everyone else on the call is another person. You know, we're not robots, we're not talking heads, and the best way to do that, we thought, was to honestly give online groups some space. What you're seeing on your screen here is really the essence of Gatherly, and it's something that you'll experience in a moment as soon as I turn off this group call. But essentially, with a space that's personalized and customized to an organization, it allows people to feel safe, it allows people to feel comfortable, it allows people to have agency over how they want to experience a virtual event. It's not just about content. I'm not here to talk your head off. I'm here to meet you and learn about you. When you go to a conference, do you spend 100% of your time listening to the speaker and then leave? You know, hell no! I'm going to spend about 20% of my time listening to the speaker, and then I want to spend most of my time getting to know people, exchanging business cards, learning new things on my own time. I want to choose what booths I want to visit. I don't want to be thrown into breakout room after breakout room. And honestly, if Gatherly takes the world one step towards that future where online environments become more interactive, more real, more spatial, as opposed to content driven, then we're a huge success. It's really lifelike and it's really easy. It's really lifelike and it's really easy. And in just a moment here, I'm going to turn off my presentation and you'll see the map reappearing on the top right corner of your screen. You'll get a chance to navigate different floors. And even if you've never been on Gatherly before, you got it in 30 seconds flat. Every single decision we made when innovating Gatherly, when creating the space, started with, is it going to make meetings more lifelike? Is it going to make connections more natural? And number two, is it extremely easy for people to use? It's not something that we want people to develop an entire onboarding and training on. We're not here to introduce a new system. Gatherly is entirely browser-based. It's entirely single sign-on, which means that nobody needs to create an account to join one of your events. Nobody needs to do anything except launch it on their browsers. And then within 30 seconds of joining an event, they know exactly what to do and how it works. And that's because we are naturally built to connect. Every human is biologically engineered to connect and meet new people. And the way that Gatherly works, the nature of it all is intuitive. And you're going to see that right away. Forget gallery views. I'm going to say it 2 more times. Forget gallery views, forget gallery views. You got to host events in multi-floor venues that feel real. But of course, we can leverage from data. At the end of every event or every session that happens on Gatherly, we get really meaningful insight that offers actionable advice on how to follow up with people, how can we improve for next time, so on and so forth. And all of these things are features that we were really listening for. What matters most? I can't stress enough, it was and has been an immediate and significant success. We are only in our 10th month of operation, ladies and gentlemen. We launched June 2024. And that doesn't even include any of the license models. Nobody could subscribe for an account on Gatherly until January 7th of this year. That means we're almost done. 2 months of the license model. We couldn't be a more baby company if we tried. And yet what we're finding is the effects that we're having on people are significant and they are immediate. David Joyner is a professor and an author. He teaches at Georgia Tech University, and he's completely shifted his online classes from Zoom and Teams onto the Gatherly environment, and he's finding that all of the students are responding to it immediately well. Students are doing things like joining class a little bit early so that they can sit next to their friends instead of, can you believe? Like, who does that? At the end of class, people are staying on past the end of class time so that students can spend time getting to know other students and making a meaningful impression with their teacher. Forget education. 40 minutes after the event has ended, half of the room is still there. We're hearing from Renee Luongo. She's the Director of Training and Development at DHL Express. What they've done with us is a training program for a lot of their new management trainees, and essentially a period of 12 weeks, their invitees, their management trainees were invited to a Gatherly venue for training and development, and after every single session, those management trainees were hanging out after the end of scheduled activities to socialize with each other. That's unheard of on Teams. Have you ever stayed on a Teams call past the end? It doesn't work. It doesn't happen like that. Our global community was much more engaged and at events held on Zoom. That's why Joaquin Escandon, he's from Autism Today. Autism Today, we worked with them on a global summit. We invited over 3,000 of their global members to an event with us last October. It was a huge solution, a 65-floor venue. Among them, there were movie floors, activities floors, games floors, advice floors, speaker floors, community networking floors. We created areas that represented different countries so that when a parent with an autistic child joined the event from Africa, they knew exactly where to go, where they could network with other African parents in the same environment. Everyone got to choose how they wanted to experience that online conference, and they were not being put from breakout room to breakout room and shared content with. First I want to feature is CCNM. This is the Canadian College of Naturopathic Medicine. They were introduced to Gatherly for a career expo. Is Kiana here? I believe Kiana will be here in a moment. Kiana comes from the CCNM and we're really happy. We're working together on a number of new projects this year. We hosted a career expo that lasted about 5 hours and 10 minutes. Was supposed to be 4.5 hours, 40 minutes stay over rate. 314 students from their school came and joined an immersive conference hall where they were able to go, oh, Aaron, Andrew, you're both here from CCNM. I'm sending all the hearts your way. Thank you so much for being here. Kiana and I are chatting about obviously our event we're doing together again this October, and I can't wait to talk to her about seeing you guys here today. I knew that she was going to be here, you guys were going to be here, so I definitely wanted to take a moment to recognize you all in my presentation. Thank you. Feel free to jump in. But I think you'll agree that it was such a really fresh way of doing an online career fair. Obviously, making it online gives students an opportunity to join without any cost from anywhere in the world, on their phones, from any province, and at the same time, we are able to expand the range of employers who they're meeting with on the other side of things. Job seekers today have a really tough time I'm sure a lot of us can relate to a story here where, there's an available position online. You're sort of sending a resume and cover letter. You're spending time on that, and it's like a Hail Mary. You have no idea if there's anyone on the other side of the screen that's going to be seeing your resume. You have no idea who to follow up with, and it doesn't drive any motivation to spend time on your next application. 10 times out of 10, you're probably not going to hear back unless you're going to be hired. And it's just become almost this like cyclical pain point and problem for job seekers today. Among those are, of course, students. On the other side of things, HR managers are having to sift through resumes and are unable to really understand what those people are like behind those resumes. And it just makes recruitment more difficult and annoying than it has to be. At our career fairs, students get immediate face time with the hiring manager, so that before we're even submitting any applications, through Gatherly, by the way, students are being able to leave an impression and following up with exactly who's looking at their application, and it just sort of brings this element of humanity back to the job search world when we need it so badly. Andrew and Aaron, thank you guys so much for being here. You guys mean a lot to us. And we're looking forward to more events, obviously, with you this year. Next, I want to share a really interesting story. This is at Gilder. JJ, I see you in the audience. JJ, I just saw you there. Sorry, I haven't said hello yet. JJ is my guy. JJ and I have been working together on a number of projects, but we initially met at this event that I'm going to talk to you about right now. It was called the Gilder Startup Showcase. Gilder is an entrepreneurs networking community. They have weekly meetups and monthly networking events, and people have become familiar with other members of that group. Of course, entrepreneurs are joining, and then they're meeting people and communicating with each other. One day, October 29th, they decided to have this Dragon's Den / Shark Tank style of event where they invited a lot of the founders and early stage companies to come to an event and meet potential investors. There was 83 people there in total. 13 of them were founders that were presenting, and then the rest of the audience was a mix of private investors, angel investors, VCs, and people who were just interested. And we used the software to host a really cool Dragon's Den style event, sort of where every founder got a chance to speak for 5 minutes about their company to a room full of investors. Afterwards, they all got to meet and network across those floors really interpersonally. And a significant and immediate success. Several startups reported follow-up meetings with investors after the event, and 2 startup founders secured early stage funding after having come to that event. The presenters were really comfortable, and that's because they weren't presenting on like this stale Zoom environment. It's because they were presenting in the Gilder sort of HQ. And again, they're there every week, every month for these regular events, so they got to present to investors in an environment that they found extremely comfortable and home-like. And we're able to offer that experience of familiarity and comfort on virtual. That's unheard of. It's just unheard of. Last one over here. State Farm. Like I said in the beginning, we were laser focused on education and smaller groups, online communities, and then out of the blue, we started discovering how many companies and how many industries had a need for this type of an online meeting solution. State Farm was introduced to us last year around the holidays. They had a need to engage 2,000 of the remote employees across all of the United States. And in the end, they did a holiday party with us. And what you're seeing here on your screen is the main floor there. And what you're seeing on that computer frame is a guest book where every single employee of State Farm came in. They got to sign a Merry Christmas card to the rest of their teams, and then they continued navigating the floors. And again, this was a huge venue, over 30 floors, where there were trivia games, magicians, scavenger hunts, recognition of different cultural celebrations around that time. There was a floor for Christmas, a floor for Kwanzaa, a floor for Hanukkah, a floor for all sorts of different meaningful beautiful groups with speakers talking about that. There were photo booths, arcade games. So there was a mix of live hosted activities as well as activities that people could enjoy with each other, and they could again get agency over how they wanted to experience each other. It doesn't feel like this virtual holiday party where you're invited to a Zoom call to watch a magician. You're invited to a multi-floor venue that's open for the whole day, and you get to choose who you want to talk to and what you want to experience, and that's something that we can offer everybody now. We're working with Killian.
Yeah, just kind of see like, well, what are you guys doing? Can we, because we're obviously,
specifically one thing or another.
Look at the high score there. Okay, I'm gonna pull everyone back. So thanks, guys, for being
behind
here.
you, Gabe.
Some of the pain points. How did we make sure Gatherly was being developed in a way that was, of course, reasonable in terms of progressing, efficiency, but at the same time, in a way that we're really, really listening. Our job is not to make Gatherly the most efficient platform in the world. That's probably Zoom, that probably stays Zoom. It's the most personable, it's the most social platform in the world. And we've really been listening to people to try and make that happen. I want to talk a little bit about some of the biggest pain points, and feel free to jump in if you can relate to any one of these here. In higher education, student engagement. Students are paying more tuition now than they were pre-COVID, but almost 40% of all students in North America, are now starting, continuing, and completing their diploma degree programs completely online. And when that's happening, all class time is just content. I'm the first person to say, once you graduate university, you're going to forget 97% of the things you learned in class, unless it's medical, CCNM here. But what really matters are the people you meet along the way, people who are your colleagues now, who will be your colleagues throughout the rest of your career. Leaving a lasting impression with your teachers who are going to guide you in that industry. I've spoken a lot about student engagement. What about faculty engagement or instructor engagement, right? Now, we can see what's going on the other side of the screen. At the end of every single class, we can run meaningful analytics reports to understand if any student might be struggling, so that I'm not hearing 6 weeks into the program, oh, teacher, I'm not really sure what's going on. What? You would have never missed that in person, and you'll never miss it again with Gatherly. End of year reporting. At the end of every single module or course, we've got to send our reports to the accreditation bodies. In universities, we've got many masters here, right? The professors respond to the students, but also to our academic directors, also to the deans, also to our accreditation bodies. And it's amazing how we're able to satisfy that full circle with Gatherly. In SMEs and nonprofits, with nonprofits really being the focus here, SMEs as it relates to awareness and webinars and exposure, global coordination. Of course, members benefit from dedicated floors, and a really, really, really beautiful feature coming up soon is multi-language closed captioning here. If I'm talking too fast, which does happen sometimes, on the bottom of your screen, right next to your camera icon, you're going to see a little CC icon. If you click on that in real time as I'm speaking, we're going to see subtitles forming. We're actually working with a beautiful agency based out of Copenhagen. They're called Boost Lingo, where we'll be able to translate this closed captioning into any language in the world in real time. So you could be listening to me speak in Japanese and you could be seeing it coming up in Spanish, whatever you'd like there. And so can you imagine the inclusion and the availability and accessibility that's going to be able to provide organizations? Limited tech savviness. Oftentimes in nonprofit organizations, we're working with people with disabilities. So Scott, thank you so much. Thank you. It is unreal. It's already operating now, but in the third-party window, what we're working on now is kind of integrating it directly into our platform. Give us a couple of months and it will be here. Gatherly is easy. It's completely browser-based. None of you had to sign up for a Gatherly account to come and join today's event here. None of you had to download any software. It just operates directly on your browser. It's really, really good on a mobile device. If you're here on a mobile device, and you know that already, and that's a really important value. Next, sponsorship and funding. Nonprofits rely on sponsorships. They rely on funding, they rely on donations. And when nonprofits were hosting in-person events all the time, that was pretty easy, because now I can offer you a package whereby you're going to have this gigantic banner right in the middle of the ballroom. When we start talking about events on Zoom, it becomes impossible to monetize any sorts of sponsorship packages or donations. But now with Gatherly, it feels like an in-person event here. It goes back to our value of trying to approach challenges with a mindset of how would it be solved in real life? And how can we bring that solution onto Gatherly and make it better? Corporations, distraction and drop-off rates. Everybody knows that work from home kind of means you got the day off. But it shouldn't, right? It doesn't have to. We're not like that at Gatherly, obviously. Standardization versus personalization. Every organization needs to deliver very standardized training or presentations or onboarding, and Gatherly has a way of making those deliveries feel personalized, even though the content is standardized. And of course, measuring impact through really, really powerful post-event analytics or post-activity analytics. Like I mentioned, our approach to pain points here was simple, and actually Gabe is my testimony here. Before we make any decision in regards to technology or any enhancements, we ask ourselves first, how could we initiate this sort of feature in a way that offers the same type of in-person solution, and we're replicating that solution. A really good example, for example, is queues at booths. Well, somebody will ask me, well, if somebody's already talking to somebody, how can we send them a request to know that I would like to talk to them next? And it's like, well, how do you do that in person? And how can we create a solution that's built into the technology that mirrors that type of interaction? You know, can we tap somebody on the shoulder? And can we do that on Gatherly? And the second question was, can we initiate that feature in a way that's ultra simple and intuitive? Humans are biologically engineered to connect, right? We don't have sharp claws or wings or shells or talons, and yet we dominate the earth. How did humans do that? It's by finding groups, finding communities. We are biologically designed to belong in a meaningful group. And if we are engaging with our communities exclusively online, we know by now, 2025, it's not cutting it on traditional platforms. And people are not feeling connected to their groups in the way that they should. That goes for students, but that also goes for online communities, and it also goes for remote employees at every corporation. With Gatherly, people move around. People encourage spontaneous interactions. People feel like, you know, one of my students mentioned to me, they go, oh, sir, I don't really know what table to sit at. Every table's already got some people, and I'm kind of shy to say hello. And I was like, ding, ding, ding. If we can develop a virtual platform that can make people feel a little bit socially awkward, you know, that's a good thing. That means that's a testament to how lifelike, you know, these types of things can feel. You know, when I teach my classes, of course, all of them happen on Gatherly on that classroom floor, which I showed you just before this broadcast. And like clockwork, ladies and gentlemen, my friends from educational institutions are going to appreciate this one. Students come in, and 10 times out of 10, the first tables to be sat at are the ones that are farthest away from the teacher's desk. It don't matter, it's virtual, but it's a testament to how lifelike we can recreate that in-person experience, no matter what event type we're talking about. Okay, so like I said, we didn't model Gatherly based on Zoom or Teams. We modeled Gatherly based on how we would want to see an event in person. Okay, I spent a lot of time in the hospitality industry. Before I was a professor, I built my career at the Four Seasons hotels. As a matter of fact, I worked in banquets and events, and I spent a lot of time understanding how much money these hotels make from these ballrooms they have on the third floor of their venues, and just big empty rooms that are used to, of course, engage people at a variety of capacities. We haven't gotten to online weddings yet, but you know. And so when we were developing Gatherly, we asked ourselves, what features could we develop that replicate this experience of a hotel ballroom? And we did not at all model based off of what was going on other platforms here. So can we make it bigger? Yes, we can have up to 10,000 people in a single Gatherly event. That's unheard of anywhere else. Free motion, of course, customization, white labeling, custom landing pages, multi-track broadcast. We're the only virtual platform on the market right now that offers multi-track broadcast. That means you could have a group of people listening to a presentation on the third floor of your venue, and a group of people listening to a presentation on the fourth, fifth, and sixth floor of your venue, all simultaneously. Concurrently. Again, something that nobody else really has right now. Embed your preferred registration tool. All right, when you're doing registrations for an event or for a class, or alumni networking or any sort of webinar, it's really wonderful that you can embed your preferred registration tool directly into your Gatherly platform, so that when you're inviting people, you don't have to send them a separate link to registration and a separate link to join an event. You're sending everybody just one link. If they're joining prior to the event start, it showcases a beautiful landing page that completely integrates with your preferred tool, and then after the event starts, that same link populates people directly into the venue. I frame Gatherly directly onto your site, particularly amazing for LMSs, right? If you're working with Canvas or Moodle or Blackboard or anything like that, instead of offering anybody a link to some sort of Zoom or Teams session, you can build a virtual classroom directly inside the platform. We're working with a number of universities right now who are piloting this in consideration for fall of 2025, and we're really proud of that. Those include USF, Georgia Tech, UCLA Berkeley, the Wharton School at UPenn, University of Iowa, Columbia University has signed up for that pilot as well, and I'm just really excited to see what that might really do to online education in the years ahead. And finally, use templates to quickly design custom maps. Obviously, the beautiful part about Gatherly is that it's customized to you. Once you've joined one Zoom call, you've joined them all. Once you've been on one Teams call, you've joined them all. It's not like that with Gatherly. Every event has a unique style and a unique look. I call it the wedding effect. What I mean by that is that everybody here has been to a wedding. Everybody's here been to a number of weddings. You know what a wedding looks and feels like, and still, at every wedding you go to, there's that moment where they open up their doors to the ballroom and everyone has like a little wow moment to look at the table settings and stuff like that. And it's like, we can offer that same wow factor for online events. It's what makes Gatherly inherently interesting, inherently engaging, without having to double everybody's role as an entertainer. Folks, I come to the end of my presentation, okay? Here are our most highly requested features. These are what you can look forward to coming out over the next 6 weeks. Where's JJ? JJ, are you here? Virtual backgrounds, that's for you, sir. It's been our most obviously requested feature. The day doesn't go by where I don't hear, can we do virtual backgrounds? The answer is yes, it's coming. Yes, it's coming. I'm sorry it's taken this long to come out. It's obviously been a little bit more technically challenging than anticipated. We've got really wonderful ideas of how we can do a virtual background that's not only more functional but crazy cool. We're going to make it so that the virtual background changes depending on where you are in the venue to really give you that sense of immersion. It's coming, Aaron. I promise you, it's coming. It should have been out already. We're a bit late. It's coming. Instant events. Soon you'll be able to click on a button to launch an instant event and invite people from within that event so that you don't have to spend any time prior to an event designing the venue. You can have that already preset. Multi-language closed captioning, like I mentioned already, in-app booth scheduling, and Gmail and Outlook integration, so that whenever you're hosting and you're organizing something on Gatherly, you can quickly click a button to link it to your preferred calendar event, and it links in there, and that way invitations really become a breeze. And finally, a really cool feature that's called Follow Me. Essentially, I'll be able to ask, Ayani or Butch or Deb or anyone here to follow me, and then you'll have a notification that says yes or no, and if you click yes, then sort of where I go in the venue, you'll follow me in the venue, and like that we can experience a conference or convention together as a group. It's really, really exciting. So I come to my final slide. What we want from you, obviously, is we continue to depend on you and your feedback. After this event, I'm going to be sending you an email, of course, where you can share really open feedback, and I encourage you to please be as critical as you possibly can. As a matter of fact, if you click on the toolbar link, you're going to see a button that says your feedback is important. You can take a moment to fill that out already. I had planned on stopping you guys and asking you forcibly to do that over the next 2 minutes while I stay quiet, but we're running out of time and staying quiet is challenging for me. So here we are. We'll make sure to send you that link afterwards here, but please, 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 I can't tell you how much those suggestions really, really, really come into our meetings. Gabe, am I right? It's not relevant for me to develop Gatherly in ways that I think would make it more interesting. It's more relevant to see how you're using it, and can we develop any features that would make you excited, because the answer is yes, we can, and yes, we will. Okay. Do you have any questions about our current projects? Would you like to collaborate with us for an event, for marketing? Is there any way that we can work together that supports our exposure, but at the same way supports your event? We're running pilot programs, like I said, with a number of schools. That's obviously a typo, patograms, and I'm really excited to reveal those results. We're working with Semeta Behavioral Sciences, which is a psychological behavioral sciences organization, obviously based out of South Florida. They're actually going to be working over the next couple of months auditing some of the events that are happening on Gatherly, so we can understand at the more granular level, cerebral level even, if I may, why is Gatherly so much better? We know that it is, but what is happening that makes Gatherly so much more engaging? We'll be able to understand that very much. And then, of course, as a thank you for being here, know that we appreciate your time very, very much, and you can count on some freebies coming into your account. Okay, it's free to use Gatherly on the trial, but what we'd like to do is offer you 3 months of the pro plan so that you can see all of the features essentially and use it in your operation and become familiar with it over time, and our philosophy is that sort of in those 3 months you'll be in a position where you'll tell us exactly what you need and we'll develop it exactly for you. Not everybody has a need for a platform for recurring events. Obviously, some of you are here in consideration for an upcoming conference or convention, something that's more of an annual or biannual event. Know that we, of course, are here for you as well, and we're happy to give you $500 off your next event. So full service events are ones where, of course, we're managing the whole thing, and it's something that we love to do very much. We're quite good at it. And then, of course, if you'd like to have a license to Gatherly so that you can use it to host an unlimited amount of events with your own groups, we'll make that happen for you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, 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 very much for being here. Whenever I get a chance to get on a pedestal and talk, it's like my Christmas, but you guys really made it special today. Thank you. Thank you very much, Bush. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much. That's so, so, so kind of you. Honestly, we're doing what we love here. I'm an educator first. I'm a university professor. I teach accounting, and it's just not cutting it for me anymore on Zoom. And so we got together with a small group of people, and We worked with, Chris Cherry, and who was one of the earliest developers of Gatherly, as well as Carl. We put our heads together for a long time, and now we really have a direction, a vision, and we're motivated to do so. Each and every day, we're making an impact on a virtual group, an online group that's feeling more connected with their peers, that's feeling happier and spending more time with each other. And if we're able to do that, even once a month, once a year, it's an incredible motivating factor. So thank you very much. I'm going to end the broadcast in just a moment here. Please feel free to hang out as long as you'd like. You'll find me chit-chatting with some people across some of the floors here. If you've got nothing else, feel free to make a high score. Get down to the arcade, take a photo. Like I said, bathrooms, refreshments on the 4th floor. Thank you very much, folks. All my love. Thank you so much for being here.